Hey, what's going on, family? Thank you for checking out this podcast snippet. If you like what you hear in this snippet, you can tune in to the full podcast episode by clicking the links below in the description. Thank you, and until the next time we hop on the podcast together, shalom. But verse 3, it says, "And wherefore have the Lord brought us unto the land, or unto this land, to fall by the sword, that our wives and our children should be a prey? Were it not better for us to return into Egypt?" So basically they're saying, was it not better for us to stay in bondage? I don't know about you guys, but it was absolutely not better for me to stay where God brought me from. I am ecstatic, happy, grateful, thankful that God has brought me to the place where I am today, and I am standing strong and believing through his word and through his promises that he is going to bring me all the way to the finish line. But listen to what they're saying. Listen to their testimony. "And they said one to another, Let us make a captain and let us return into Egypt." I just want to say a couple things, guys, and I'm going to close. Think about what we just heard come from the children of God, children that saw God do miraculous things in their life. Look how quick they went from victory to being defeated, all because of what they saw, all because they did not stand strong in God's promises. And we know that what they saw wasn't something so traumatic that it should have affected them in that way, because if that was the case, then Caleb would have came back with the same testimony. But God once again said, "But my servant Caleb, because he had another spirit with him and have followed me fully, him will I bring into the land whereunto he went, and his seed shall possess it." So he said that land that he went and spied out, he and his seed are going to possess it. But he followed me fully. He did not waver in the things that I had promised him. He did not waver in the things that I had already done in his life. His testimony did not waver. He believed me then, and he believed me now. And the scary thing about it is look at how the evil report that they brought back, look at how it affected the others. And when we look at modern day time, and when we look at this internet, when we look at the ability for you to post something up on social media and for it to spread like wildfire, look at how many negative and evil reports have been given by people that were saved, that God had used, God had brought from a mighty long way, brought them out of Egypt, brought them through the wilderness. Look at how many people you see now saying things like God doesn't exist, Jesus isn't real, it was all made up. Now they're tapping into other, religions and beliefs and all of these things. And what is it doing? It is affecting those that are within themselves not strong in their faith. So it's like you got to be careful with the report that you come back with when you talk to your fellow brothers and sisters. You got to be careful with what it is that you say. Words are very powerful. Everybody is not in the place where you are in. Everybody can't take an evil report, what God considers evil, a negative report. It can truly affect somebody in a real terrible way. And it affected the congregation to the point where they lifted up their voice and they cried. They were weeping and talking about, listen, it would have been better if we would have stayed in Egypt. Did God bring us out here to die? It's just amazing how they went to the land of Canaan, where they went to the land of promise, spied it out, saw that it was exactly like God said it was, and yet and still came back with an evil report that affected everyone. And not only did it affect everyone, but it brought them to the place where they talked about going back into bondage, back to the place where God had delivered them from. And another reason why that is super important is because you have many people that we can look at now that were standing strong with us, walking tall with us in the Lord, with their faith in the Lord, knowing that the Lord got us, that have went back into the land of Egypt, have went back into the world, and are living a life contrary to the one that God wanted for them. Why? Because they hit some type of bump in the road. They went to spy out something. They went to scout something that God told them he would do for them. They saw a little bit of obstacles there or opposition there, and forgot that they weren't going to be the ones that had to deal with that opposition, that God was going to give them the strength, that God, just like he was with them in previous situations where they had opposition and fought for them on their behalf, gave them the strength to fight themselves, the same God was going to do the same thing. Listen, for God, no one trial is bigger than the other. That's only in our minds and in our eyes. If we look at all of these trials the same through the lens of the same God that delivered us in previous times, if we look at it how he sees it, if we look at it through our faith in him, how many know, just like we came through those last trials, we will come through this one also. So I wanted to encourage you guys, God absolutely is going to bring us through the storm or through our wilderness. But what we have to make sure that we are not doing is that we are not getting in the way of God doing that we are not doing things contrary to what it is that God is doing in our lives currently. Because sometimes God could be trying to move and bring us one way, and we're kicking and fighting and going another way. And God is not going to fight against you. God is not going to, try to turn you into a puppet and make you do what he wants you to do. No, he wants you to believe and stand and be sure and know that he is God and know that he's going to bring you out just like he did in many times past, in spite of how it looks. That's what God expects of us, because we don't want to be like the children of Israel. We don't want to miss the land of Canaan, or we don't want to miss heaven. We don't want to miss the new earth because we allowed our present situations, we allow the things that are going on in this world to discourage us and to make us think that God is still not in control. I don't care how big the giants are. I don't care how crazy they look. Guys, it doesn't matter. What God promised, he's going to make good on.